Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing. Today we are going to be continuing to read the Iliad by Homer. So let's get going. Oily and Ajax first the voice obeyed, swift was his pace and ready was his aid. Next him Idomeneus, more slow with age, and Merion burning with a hero's rage. The long succeeding numbers who can name, but all were Greeks, and eager all for fame. Fierce to the charge great Hector led the throng. Whole Troy embodied rushed with shouts along. Thus when a mountain billow foams and raves, where some swollen river disembogues his waves. Full in the mouth is stopped the rushing tide, the boiling ocean works from side to side. The river trembles to his utmost shore, and distant rocks rebellow to the roar. Nor less resolved the firm Achaean band, with brazen shields in horrid circle stand. Jove, pouring darkness o'er the mingled fight, conceals the warriors' shining helms in night. To him the chief, for whom the hosts contend, had lived not hateful, for he lived a friend. Dead he protects him with superior care, nor dooms his carcass to the birds of air. Fight for the body of Patroclus. The first attack the Grecians scarce sustain. Repulsed they yield, the Trojans seize the slain. Then fierce they rally to revenge led on by the swift rage of Ajax Telamon. Ajax, to Peleus' son, the second name, in graceful stature next, and next in fame. With headlong force the foremost ranks he tore, so through the thicket bursts the mountain boar, and rudely scatters for a distance round the frightened hunter and the baying hound. The son of Lethus, brave Pelasgus' heir, Hippothus dragged the carcass through the war. The sinewy ankles bored, the feet he bound, with thongs inserted through the double wound. Inevitable fate o'ertakes the deed, doomed by great Ajax's vengeful lance to bleed. It cleft the helmet's brazen cheeks in twain, the shattered crest and horsehair strow the plain. With nerves relaxed he tumbles to the ground. The brain comes gushing through the ghastly wound. He drops Patroclus' foot, and o'er him spread now lies a sad companion of the dead. Far from Larissa lies his native air, and ill requites his parents' tender care. Lamented youth, in life's first bloom he fell, sent by great Ajax to the shades of hell. Once more at Ajax Hector's javelin flies, the Grecian marking as it cut the skies. Shunned the descending death which, hissing on, stretched in the dust the great Iphitus' son. Schadius the brave of all the Phaeacian kind, the boldest warrior and the noblest mind. In little Panoply for strength renowned, he held his seat and ruled the realms around. Plunged in his throat the weapon drank his blood, and deep transpiercing through the shoulder stood. In clanging arms the hero fell, and all the fields resounded with his weighty fall. For Caesar's slain, Hippothus he defends, the Telamonian lance his belly rends. The hollow armour burst before the stroke, and through the wound the rushing entrails broke. In strong convulsions, panting on the sands, he lies and grasps the dust with dying hands. Struck at the sight, recede the Trojan train. The shouting Argives strip the heroes slain. And now had Troy, by Greece compelled to yield, fled to her ramparts and resigned the field. Greece in her native fortitude elate, with Jove averse, had turned the scale of fate. But Phoebus urged Cneus to the fight. He seemed like aged Periphas to sight, a herald in Anchises' love grown old, revered for prudence, and with prudence bold. Thus he, what methods yet, O chief, remain, to save your Troy, though heaven its fall ordain? There have been heroes who by virtuous care, by valour numbers, and by arts of war, have forced the powers to spare a sinking state, and gained at length the glorious odds of fate. But you, when fortune smiles, when Jove declares his partial favour, and assists your wars, your shameful efforts 'gainst yourselves employ, and force the unwilling god to ruin Troy. Cneus through the form assumed descries the power concealed, and thus to Hector cries, O lasting shame, to our own fears a prey, we seek our ramparts and desert the day. A god, nor is he less, my bosom warms, and tells me Jove asserts the Trojan arms. He spoke, and foremost to the combat flew, the bold example all his hosts pursue. Then first Leocritus beneath him bled, in vain beloved by valiant Lycomede, who viewed his fall, and grieving at the chance, swift to revenge it sent his angry lance. The whirling lance with vigorous force addressed descends and pants in Apisaon's breast. From rich Paeonia's vales the warrior came, next thee Asteropaeus in place and fame. Asteropaeus with grief beheld the slain, and rushed to combat, but he rushed in vain. Indissolubly firm around the dead, rank within rank on buckler spread, and hemmed with bristled spears the Grecians stood, a brazen bulwark and an iron wood. Great Ajax eyes them with incessant care, and in an orb contracts the crowded war. Close in their ranks commands to fight or fall, and stands the centre and the soul of all. Fixed on the spot they war and wound. A sanguine torrent steeps the reeking ground. On heaps the Greeks, on heaps the Trojans bled, and thickening round them rise the hills of dead. Greece in close order in collected might, yet suffers least and sways the wavering fight. Fierce as conflicting fires the combat burns, and now it rises, now it sinks by turns. In one thick darkness all the fight was lost, the sun, the moon, and all the ethereal host seemed as extinct, day ravished from their eyes, and all heaven's splendours blotted from the skies. Such o'er Patroclus's body hung the night, the rest in sunshine fought and open light. Unclouded there the aerial azure spread, no vapour rested on the mountain's head. The golden sun poured forth a stronger ray, and all the broad expansion flamed with day. Dispersed around the plain by fits they fight, and here and there their scattered arrows light. But death and darkness o'er the carcass spread, there burned the war, and there the mighty bled. Meanwhile the sons of Nestor in the rear, their fellows routed, tossed the distant spear, and skirmish wide, so Nestor gave command, when from the ships he sent the Pylian band. The youthful brothers thus for fame contend, nor knew the fortune of Achilles' friend. In thought they viewed him still with martial joy, glorious in arms and dealing death to Troy. And with that we come to the end of the episode, because I don't have time for another page, unfortunately, so that is where we're going to end it. Getting very close to the end of this book. I need to decide, A, if I'm going to continue to read excuse me, if I'm going to continue to read the Iliad, or if we move on to a different book. And to be honest, I'm thinking I might go and collect some more gold coins, just for some fun. Well, just for something different, because I might just chit and chat, you know. But anyway, I'll say thank you very much for joining today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it, and as always we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.